What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is a podcast. I'm here with my friend Gabe. What
Hello,
up, Gabe?
everyone. The usual, just living life, working, watching TV.
That's right. All right, cool. And I'm Chase. Welcome back, everybody. So we just finished watching 2 trailers for It. And now Gabe has a lot more knowledge about It than I do. I've just seen the movies, so I've never read the books or anything like that. But we just watched the 2 trailers, and so we just kind of want to talk about it. I know Gabe's got some theories. He's a little bit more insightful on it. So before we started, you were gonna say something. So what were you gonna say about it?
Well, the only thing I point out is I'm hoping, because I've noticed that at least with this remake, that they started to incorporate more of what was in the book rather than I guess the director's interpretation, which is really nice. Because what
Was
can I
the
say?
first one more of the director's interpretation, do you think, then?
Well, now that I think about it, somewhat. There may be a couple parts, but was it the 80s, the 70s rendition of it? No, the 80s, definitely the 80s.
Yeah.
The 80s rendition of It in both its parts was tried to be it was more of they tried to stick more to the story in the book. Of course, there's some parts of the book that weren't incorporated because they're pretty graphic, but the 80s rendition did real well. This time around, it didn't feel as if the director was trying to put his own artistic take in it.
Uh-huh.
There were definitely a couple parts where he did, but what I liked is that he tried to kind of carry on the same tradition of making the movie a straight representation of the story source straight out of the book. So it's more of the fact that whatever small details weren't covered in the 80s rendition were covered on during this generation's.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that seems... I mean, to me, they both look cool. I mean, because we just... Like I said, we just watched the 2 trailers for it. And what'd you think of the naked grandma?
I'll be honest, I didn't. I've seen these trailers at least a handful of times. Tonight was legit the first time I noticed that. So when I see her in the background, I thought, oh, she's naked. Why?
Yeah, I hear you. That was definitely unexpected. But the second trailer, that had a lot more stuff in it. It definitely got me interested. I definitely want to see it. I'm just excited Bill Hader's in it. Because I love Bill Hader. So he's going to be awesome. And then, who's he? Oh, he's the kid. He's the grown-up version of the Stranger Things kid. I don't remember what his name is. So wait, so what's the second book about then?
It's actually just all one book. Stephen King's
Oh,
It novel is just one book, but since the story is so long, it had to be cut into 2 movies.
Gotcha.
And what's nice is it just kind of tells you that that's how good of a story it is. The story's so well that kind of another comparison may not be the best one, but it gets the point across. Is like Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, that's a bad comparison because that was literally 3 books. But if we were to kind of compare stories,
The Hobbit, they broke that up into 3 books or 3 movies.
Yeah, that's a better comparison. The Hobbit was split into a couple movies to render the whole story as a whole.
Well, Breaking Dawn was so good from the Eclipse series or the Twilight series. They had to break that into two films there at the end. But okay. This one's more focused on the adults and what they do.
Pretty much.
Are the kids ever coming back in this one? Do you think, or just flashback versions?
It'll most definitely be flashback versions. If it's anything, if it's anything like the first rendition of the movie, they might show. They might show like what's been going on. Maybe a scene or half a scene of all the kids being in Derry and like what was going on during that time frame between them as children and then them as adults.
Mm.
I don't know if you've seen like the '80s version of the movie, but it doesn't show like the children at all. There might be a scene.
Wait, really?
Yeah. So like you had the first movie is obviously just all the children. The second movie is you just see all the adults. You don't really
so they broke it up into 2 parts back then too?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought they played it all through. I've only seen the first one from back then. Okay, yeah, go ahead, keep going. That's cool.
So I'm kind of hoping that my hopes versus expectation versus reality versus theory. It would be nice if they if the director would show a little bit more about like what was going on with the kids after like straight after their first encounter with Pennywise and their like I guess you could call pseudo defeat of him, just to kind of get an idea of like what's been going on. Another thing that'd be kind of nice is if they might have, because I know Stephen King in the story pointed out some like I don't know how you'd want to call them, either psychological influences of trauma. I know a lot of it plays, if you watch the old movie, a lot of it plays in that in the second part of the movie, where with the adults as they're trying to like either
I think I remember you talking about this like when we first saw the first one, that you were kind of going into like this psychological side of when they're adults.
Yeah. Looking back on that conversation, that's it's kind of a stretch. I can't remember much, but I do, from what I've seen, is like a lot of it. He does delve into the fact that like they haven't gotten over pretty much their childhood fears, and of course it all resurfaces when they're adults, and you see that in the original movie as well. In this movie, I'm hoping that. I'm kind of hoping it still plays to the effect of the first movie, of the original.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of would like to see, like, because now if you think about it, nowadays with, like, well, I don't want to say mental awareness. It's more like with all the, what's the word, or what's the phrase I want to use? With all, like, the mental health that's become kind of like an epidemic going on. It'd be kind of nice to see if the director can kind of incorporate that more realistically towards how things are these days, coping with mental health, trying to overcome it. But I mean, obviously, it was meant to scare us. Right. So I'm prepared to get scared again. At the same time, like what's going to happen with the kids or I guess in this case with the adults.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe kind of see how, if he's going to give the adults closure to their childhood traumas, or if he's going to stick with the story as it's written, where basically they don't really get closure, or if it's going to be like a rendition of both, which would be kind of nice. But to me, that's like one thing I'd like to see.
Yeah.
Because of course, a lot of that is stuff that we may not be traumatized like that, visiting space aliens, eating our siblings or friends and family, or killing us left and right. But we do face, a lot of issues in the world of mental health, whether they be traumatic experiences, happy experiences, sad experiences, and things like that, and how they basically don't ever really leave our minds. But other than that, I'm also looking forward to how how closely he's gonna play this to the story in the book. Like, is he gonna recreate all the scenes from all the chapters as they're adults in the book, or is he gonna kind of water it down a little bit? Because if I remember correctly, when this new release of it came out, when was it? Was it like
2017, I think.
Yeah, 2 years ago. When it came out 2 years ago, I was kind of hoping it would kind of veer away from the 80s take of it and more, and because it's already rated R. There's already, if you read the book, there's a very questionable occurrences in the book that occur, and being given it an R-rated label, it's like you might as well throw it all out there.
Yeah,
it's
go for it.
It's restricted. It's like the cage is unlocked. What more harm could you do?
Yeah.
Other than to yourself. So in this case, I was kind of hoping he'd capture every scene from every image that you can think of from the book and throw it on the big screen. It didn't happen. There's a couple of instances in the book that happen when the kids meet up with Pennywise, and other scenes among the kids that they do, that wasn't shown in either of the versions of the movie, whether it's the 2017 or the 80s version. But with that type of, if you think about it, it's rated R. You might as well just throw it in there.
What was one of those scenes? Because, like I said, I haven't read the book at all. So.
Oh well, okay. So I was kind of avoiding it mostly because it's for those that have never read the book. There's a couple paragraphs in the book where it talks about how basically the losers get together and have like a big massive orgy with Beverly.
Oh. Okay, yeah, I could see why they probably might not put that in there.
But at the same time, if you look at it objectively from the fact that it's already an R-rated film, you might as well throw it in. But then again, I guess the U.S. kind of frowns on child porn.
Well, yeah, yeah, most definitely, and I think maybe something like that. It's kind of like it might distract from like what the actual point of the movie. Like people would get so focused and like crazy about that it was just like, okay, let's just not do that because it might just ruin or.
Oh yeah, I mean, I could see how that would ruin the entire movie. You sit there for an hour and a half, get a quick youth orgy scene going, and then you're thinking, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
I know me personally, I'd probably be done too. That's not something I'd want to sit and watch.
Yeah. Oh wow, I didn't even. Yeah, I was not expecting that answer. Jeez.
But that's one of a few that obviously didn't make the cut to the movie.
Fell on the editing room floor. Okay. What scene do you hope you see in this one that's coming out?
Geez, looking back, I'll be honest, it's been a while since. I mean, it's been years since I read the book.
Well, the book's so huge anyway. You probably only remember bits and pieces of it.
Yeah. To be honest, as watching them as adults, like there's I can't think of a scene that I'd want to see that's on there. Like, other than like everything that's written about them as adults, but there's nothing specific that I'm looking forward to seeing. In reality, the only thing I'm looking forward to see is the chapter 2 of the movie.
Gotcha.
Being released as a whole.
How much of the book is about the kids, and how much is about the adults? Like, it's 50-50?
It's almost safe to say it's 50-50. And like, if we're to be technical, there might be lean more towards like there might be just a few more pages of them being as children than there are of them being as adults.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's pretty close to 50-50. If you were to read the entire novel.
All right. Cool. So from the trailer, well, I remember I read somewhere actually, the director and just like the people making it, they were really wanting to. I can't remember where I read it, but they were really wanting to stay close to the book on this one. So, hopefully that's good news.
Because I mean, I do remember like as adults, there's nothing like out of the ordinary like there was when they were children that they would have to edit out.
Yeah.
Like we just talked about before. So as adults, they should be able to like incorporate everything from the book onto the screen. There shouldn't be. I can't think of a reason why where they would say, oh, that's too scary, or that's not really necessary for the story. It's now that you got adults watching adults facing their childhood fears,
yeah,
which a lot of adults these days are still trying to like get over from their own personal childhood fears.
Right.
So another spoiler, yeah, unless you can get over them now, don't have any hopes of getting over them through this movie.
Oh, okay.
But I will say this, it's good to be kind of educated on like what's out there as far as like possible scenarios. Like if you're looking at this movie as a way to kind of cope with like traumatic childhood experiences, just to see just to kind of find a hero in the story for yourself, depending which character you like, you're most likely not going to find it.
Really?
Yeah, you might find a couple of experiences where you can, but other than that, Stephen King specifically made these stories to kind of scare us.
So it's kind of like one of those things where, okay, because I'm going in like with the superhero mindset.
Yeah, definitely don't do that.
Where all these kids that are now adults are going to be vindicated, like, and like everything's going to be good.
I mean,
so
maybe to an extent, but other than that, no, don't get your hopes up.
It's kind of like, okay.
That's kind of like life, I guess.
All right.
But it's not to say that.
But I think yeah, okay, yeah. I think that's cool though, because like, sometimes you need a tragic ending. If it is, I don't really know, but it may seem like it's leaning that way.
For most people that have never seen the '80s version of the movie, let alone read the book, yeah, don't think that there's going to be a heroic ending to it. There will be an ending, and it's more. I guess you could generically say it's like a dark ending, but it does bring like closure. May not be the closure that you're looking for or hoping for, but it does bring it. It's enough to say, all right, I can move past this and move on. But you'll definitely won't forget it.
All right. Well, that sounds pretty good. I definitely am more excited to see it now. So to get that somewhat closure, and maybe I'll listen to the audiobook before. I probably won't. I'll probably just wait to see it. But all right. Well, thanks, Gabe, for bringing me up to speed at least on this whole It movie. Any final words?
Enjoy it. If you're looking to get scared, you'll definitely get scared. One thing I'm looking forward to, now that I think about it, they say this one's supposed to be even scarier, and as scary as can be.
Dang.
So yeah,
right.
It's gonna be interesting to be sitting in a theater full of adults just like getting scared.
Yeah.
I mean, you look back, if you've seen the 2017 version, or I guess chapter 1, and you thought to yourself, oh, it wasn't that scary. My expectations are the director was saying it's meant to scare adults.
Yeah.
So however you want to take that, I hope not to be rude or anything, but I do hope you get scared because that's his goal.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to get scared.
Well, because like the other one was to scare kids. They're adults now. And he needs to. Pennywise needs to scare adults, which means he needs to scare us too. So, all right. Do you think it'll do as good as the first one did? Because I know the first one was like huge success.
It's hard to tell because that was a different generation then.
Well, I mean the 2017 one.
Oh, I want to say it should do at least just as well, if not better.
Okay.
If like the expectations set and met, it should do just as well, if not better.
Nice. That would be cool. Yeah, because I feel like I will say this. I feel like when the 2017 one came out, I feel like there was more people talking about it than I feel like there are right now. And it may just be that I'm just out of the loop or whatever, or I'm not hearing it as much, or I'm just not in those circles to hear it as much. But I feel like there was just a little bit more excitement for the first one when it came out. But I think I agree with you. I think it'll do just as good, if not better, than the 2017 one. All right. Well, thank you, Gabe.
Anytime. Remember, people, mark your calendar, September 6th.
September 6th. Get ready. All right. Well, that is it. Thank you all for listening to this first podcast. We don't even have a name for it. It's just chatting. All right. Have a good night, everybody, or good day, whatever time you're listening to this. And
good night.
Thank you, Gabe, for being here.